Missouri Democrat and squad member Cori Bush is now under federal investigation over her alleged misuse of government funds meant for security. You'll remember that she defended her spending on private security in a 2021 interview with CBS. Listen.
I'm going to make sure I have security because I know I have had attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police and put that money into social safety nets because we're trying to save lives.
All right, let's bring in Carrier Bond, Fox News legal editor and former counselor to Attorney General Bill Barr. She said it there. Suck it up. We'll see what the DOJ says.
Yeah, I don't know how her constituents felt about that at the time, who probably don't have the money, as most of us don't, to pay for security amounting in the several hundred thousands of dollars per year she has. But yeah, this is an interesting investigation. She confirmed it in the statement. And so we don't know much beyond what she said because grand jury proceedings are conducted in secret. So we know there was a subpoena issued to the House and pertaining to documents. And it sounds like, based on her statement, that it's related to potential or allegations about misusing funds related to her security detail. Yeah,
we do know that she paid a lot of money to her boyfriend, who is now her husband, for security. And we don't know if that contravenes the rules or not. But here's what she said in a statement, quote, "Since before I was sworn into office, I've endured relentless threats to my physical safety and life," as she pointed out in that interview we saw. "As a rank-and-file member of Congress, I am not entitled to personal protection by the House and instead have used campaign funds as permissible to retain security services. I have not used any federal tax dollars for personal security services. Any reporting that I've used federal funds for personal security is simply false."
And she's right that campaign finance law allows you to use campaign funds for services provided to pay family members for bona fide services at fair market value. So it'll be interesting to see what unfolds here. I will say this, though, John, I do feel like it's a bit of low-hanging fruit for the Biden Justice Department. And here's what I mean by that. DOJ is under a lot of scrutiny for its consistently heavy-handed approach to typically Republicans when it comes to applying the law, with, I would say, the exception of Bob Menendez. And here, you know, these allegations have been swirling for some time.
This is Cori Bush walking down the steps of the Capitol, by the way. We'll keep watching this. Go ahead.
And so, you know, this is a way for DOJ to say, look, we apply the law against both Republicans and Democrats. However, them taking a position against this particular Democrat, I would argue, actually helps Joe Biden, given how outspoken she's been about defunding the police and also her anti-Israel stances as well.
Looks like she's about to give a public statement here. Let's listen in.
I hold myself, my campaign, and my position to the highest levels of integrity. I also believe in transparency, which is why I can confirm that the Department of Justice is reviewing my campaign spending on security services. We are fully cooperating with this investigation, and I would like to take this opportunity to outline the facts and the truth. Since before I was sworn into office, I have endured relentless threats to my physical safety and life. As a rank-and-file member of Congress, I am not entitled to personal protection by the House and instead have used campaign funds as permissible to retain security services. I have not used any federal tax dollars for personal security services. Any reporting that I have used funds for personal security is simply false. In recent months, right-wing organizations have lodged baseless complaints against me, peddling notions that I have misused campaign funds to pay for personal security services. That simply is not true. I have complied with all applicable laws and House rules and will continue to prioritize the rules that govern us as federal elected officials. In particular, the nature of these allegations have been around my husband's role on the campaign. In accordance with all applicable rules, I retained my husband as part of my security team to provide security services because he has had extensive experience in this area and is able to provide the necessary services at or below fair market rate. These frivolous complaints have resulted in a number of investigations, some of which are still ongoing. The Federal Election Commission and the House Committee on Ethics are currently reviewing the matter, as is the Department of Justice. We are fully cooperating in all these pending investigations. In September of last year, 2023, after conducting a months-long investigation, the Office of Congressional Ethics found no wrongdoing and voted unanimously to dismiss the case. I look forward to this same outcome from all impending investigations. And I am under no illusion that these right-wing organizations will stop politicizing and pursuing efforts to attack me and the work that the people of St. Louis sent me to Congress to do, to lead boldly, to legislate change my constituents can feel, and to save lives. Thank you.
Have you spoken to the federal grand jury?
All right, Cori Bush not taking any questions there after reading statement, and we read part of that statement for you just a moment ago, insisting that she has done nothing wrong. Carrie Urbahn is back with us. Obviously, the Justice Department would appear to disagree with her.
Yeah, again, I'm curious to know what triggered this investigation exactly. She mentioned that she was cleared by this Congressional Ethics Board wrongdoing, or at least they recommended that she be cleared. I do think that perhaps a problem for her is that, based on our own Fox News digital reporting, her now husband didn't have a license to be a security guard in St. Louis, apparently here in Washington, D.C. as well. So is this something where he didn't check the box and they're looking into this because she made these payments to him rather? But again, as I was mentioning earlier, John, I do think that going after Cori Bush actually helps Joe Biden because it sends a message to her and the other members of the squad to get in line, especially with respect to police and Israel in this election year. So it's interesting.
So, I mean, but the allegation that you're making is that this is a purely political move by the DOJ.
No, I don't think it's purely political, but I do think that it's an interesting decision by the Department of Justice to do this. And again, we don't know. The DOJ is not commenting, so we don't know all that it entails. They've just issued a grand jury subpoena for documents. Cori Bush has confirmed what it's about. You know, when you look at the payments that she did make to her now husband, it doesn't strike me as unusually large now overall in the aggregate.
And she said it was at or below fair market value.
Right, and in the aggregate, she has spent objectively a tremendous amount of money on security, which does strike me as a bit unusual, which is maybe what triggered them looking into this in the first place, since it strikes me as a bit unusual for someone to be spending this much money, the campaign funds, on security detail. But nonetheless, you always have to ask yourselves in Washington, D.C., especially in an election year, is there anything else at play here? We just don't know, so we'll see.
All right, maybe they didn't like it when she said suck it up. I don't know. Thanks, Cori. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Sandra?
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.